Hello, hello, and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana moved up a little bit earlier today, Bitcoin as well. So there are some coins that are moving. Solana showed a little bit of upside potential. We are going to zoom in a minute. Take a look at the shorter time frame. Take a look at the micro count. That move up was not surprising and shouldn't have been surprising to you if you watched the last video. We talked about, first of all, the potential for an extension higher in a third wave or even a higher B wave. So two scenarios that were allowing for further upside. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. A bigger picture for anybody who's new on this channel. We are basically tracking two scenarios on this chart. The yellow count at the moment is the primary count. In the yellow wave count, we're dealing here with an A, B, C structure. The A wave topped in January, or yeah, it was January. The B wave bottomed in June, and we are now in this C wave higher. All of this forms an ABC structure. It should still push higher eventually, but we have only completed a wave 1 and wave 2. The third wave might be complete, might still push a little higher. We're going to take a look at that on the smaller time frame in a minute. Then we should get a 4 and a 5, so it's not yet at its end. It should still push higher. I mean, it can always break. Structures can always break, you know, that's what they do all the time, really. But we need to understand, okay, what are the levels that need to hold to keep this wave count alive? And that is at the moment the $28.40 level. Down there, the 50% Fibonacci retracement level against that level. We are focusing overall on higher. And the question is now, okay, has this third wave of the C wave finished? If that's the case, we should pull back in the wave 4. And then we should get another extension in wave 5 to $55 next, possibly 64, 79 are the next targets. Yeah? Or do we extend higher? Has wave 3 not finished yet? Wave 3 goes more directly to the next extension level because it can easily do that. The third wave really only did the minimum when it reached the 100% extension of wave 1. Basically means that wave 1 and wave 3, they have reached that same length basically, and that is the 100% extension level, and that has been reached. The price has slowed down. It's the minimum expectation for a third wave in such a diagonal pattern. It's an ending diagonal which has 5 waves, but it's more common for a third wave to reach the 1.236 extension, sometimes even the 1.38. So we talk about $55.63, which is why I pointed out specifically that an extension from here is still possible. Now, I think we should zoom in. Before we do that, however, also take a look at the white wave count, which is eventually even more bullish, because in the yellow count, after this B wave has topped, there is a potential, not a guarantee, but the risk and the potential, and that's my job to point out, that we could come down and get a bit of a crash there and actually make new bear market lows or see a substantial decline. That's not guaranteed, but that potential exists for Bitcoin as well. It's nothing I'm primarily watching for, but the potential exists. The problem is that the Solana chart, currently the subdivisions, they adhere better to that wave count, but it can always be it falls back into the white count, which is more bullish, which allows the price eventually to push higher. But again, in both wave counts, we're still looking for higher prices right now. And when the wave count in yellow is complete, I will also still look for bullish alternatives. Okay, so I'm not saying we will definitely go down, but you know, trading is always about reward and risk. So I need to point the risk out when it's there. So now let's zoom in a bit. Let's zoom in. First of all, we're still focusing on higher, but in the short term, that's now what we're really dealing with here. So this wave count is unchanged from the previous video. Obviously, we are here in the third wave. Okay, third wave might be complete. That's not confirmed yet. Basically, well, we talked about three scenarios. Let's start with the one that allows for an extension. So we highlighted there are 2 wave counts which allow for more direct upside as long as the $38.30 micro support level is holding. And the first wave count is a direct extension in the third wave, which again should take us to $55 next. That's possible as long as the $38.30 level is holding. So in this scenario, we might be dealing here with a wave 1, a wave 2. This could be a third wave, then a fourth wave and a fifth wave, and we can move higher like that. In this scenario, we need to break above the third wave high, the existing third wave high at $46.60, and then overcome $48.30 resistance. The other count is just a high B wave, and that's how I had labeled it. So currently the chart is following that scenario. The idea was, okay, we topped here in wave 3. We had 3 waves down to form an A wave of the first wave of a correction. We would see a higher B wave, A, B, C, which could still stretch a bit higher. B waves can overshoot. So there is literally, at the moment, no way of knowing, is it the extension of the third wave or a high B wave? There's no way of knowing at the moment. If it stays a 3-wave move, it's a high B wave. If it forms 5 waves, it's the third wave extension, okay? But most importantly, higher was possible against 38.30. So again, that can still push a little higher. I mean, if we talk about a high B wave, theoretical limit, because the A wave is in 3 waves, so we have to consider a high B wave. Typically, we say a high B wave should not go above the 1.38 retracement of the A wave, and that's at $50.20. So as I said, I can only give you standard resistance for a B wave. A B wave doesn't really have a target. B waves can overshoot, and then normally you say it shouldn't exceed the 1.38 retracement of the A wave. That's at $50.20. So you could say if we get above that level, especially if it's in 5 waves, then we know it's not a high B wave. We are still in wave 3. And I would say the trend is up now short term against that last swing low here around $40.90. But we're currently reacting to the 78.6 Fib level. So that B wave can end at any time. It's just something that, you know, is in the chart, okay? But the trend is up against that last swing low. And then we have one wave count which will only get confirmed really below $38.30. Or if we now see the first impulse to the downside. And that would be the wave 4 is already unfolding, wave 3 topped, and the B wave might now have topped as well, or tops shortly. And we would obviously be in the wave 4. I mean, to be honest, there are only really two wave counts. You know, there's one in which there's an extension in the third wave, and one in which we're already in the fourth, but we get a higher wave B. So they are basically. So in both scenarios, short-term higher prices were on the chart. The thing is now, okay, where does the B wave stop? And yeah, there is no level I can really give you. I can give you levels to watch, which I did. But we won't really know until we see the first impulse now to the downside. So if we see an impulse down, something that moves down quite quickly now, takes out, especially also here, the $39.80 level, the B wave low, and then the $38.30 level, yeah, then it should take us sort of maybe into the area around $32 would be ideal. Yeah, I don't think there is much more to add, so I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. If you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500 and several stocks, check out our S&P 500 and stock service. You can find the link in the description. Here you can find daily video updates about the S&P 500. We also cover the NASDAQ at the moment in daily video updates, and also regular updates about stocks. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.